What does this road sign mean? A. Falling rocks. B. Trucks use second gear. C. Steep hill. C. Steep hill. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. This sign indicates that you are approaching a steep hill. Slow down and be ready to shift to a lower gear to control your speed and protect your brakes from damage. As you enter into a roundabout, you should slow down and A. Yield to any crossing pedestrians and bicyclists. B. Yield to any car already within the roundabout. C. Both of the above. C. Both of the above. When entering a roundabout, you must yield to pedestrians, bicyclists, and traffic already in the roundabout. This sign means A. No turns. B. No outlet. C. No U-turns. C. No U-turns. This sign indicates that U-turns are prohibited. You may see a sign like this at an intersection that commonly has oncoming traffic. If you are about to be hit from the rear, you should consider each of the following, except for A. Applying your brakes. B. Letting go of the steering wheel. C. Pressing your head firmly against the head restraint.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
If you park facing uphill on a street with a curb, set the parking brake and A. Turn the front wheels toward the curb. B. Turn the front wheels away from the curb. C. Leave the front wheels straight. B. Turn the front wheels away from the curb. When parking uphill on a road that has a curb, your wheels should be turned away from the curb. When parking uphill on a street without a curb or when parking downhill, your wheels should be turned toward the curb or edge of the road. On a multi-lane road, a dashed yellow line next to a solid yellow line means A. Passing is prohibited from both directions. B. Passing is permitted from both directions. C. Passing is permitted only from the direction next to the dashed line. C. Passing is permitted only from the direction next to the dashed line. Where there are both solid and dashed yellow lines between lanes of traffic, only traffic directly next to the dashed line may cross the center line to pass. Drivers next to the solid line may not pass. To prevent yourself from becoming an aggressive driver. A. Relax and concentrate on driving. B. Drive above the posted speed limit. C. Tailgate the driver in front of you. A. Relax and concentrate on driving. To prevent yourself from becoming an aggressive driver, concentrate on driving and don't take the actions of other drivers personally. Be realistic about your travel time, drive within posted speed limits, and be forgiving of other drivers using the roadway. When you see a flashing yellow light at an intersection, you should A. Yield to all traffic before crossing the intersection. B. Stop, then enter the intersection when it is safe to do so. C. Slow down and cross the intersection carefully. C. Slow down and cross the intersection carefully. A flashing yellow light at an intersection indicates that drivers should slow to a safe and reasonable speed and proceed with caution. Your license can be suspended if you are under 21 and drive with a blood alcohol level of A. 0.15% or more. B. 0.08% or more. C. Any amount. C. Any amount. There is zero tolerance for alcohol use by drivers under age 21. If you are under 21, the detection of any trace of alcohol in your system will result in stiff penalties, including the suspension of your license for 2 years. Which of the following describes the thinking of defensive drivers? A. They know other drivers will do the right thing. B. They consider what other drivers might do and are prepared to react. C. They expect no breaks and give none. B. They consider what other drivers might do and are prepared to react. Driving defensively means anticipating potential errors made by others and preparing to compensate for their mistakes. Which of the following blocks the smooth flow of traffic? A. Slowing down to look at collision scene. B. Avoiding unnecessary lane changes. C. Using public transportation instead of your vehicle. A. Slowing down to look at collision scene. Rubbernecking, the practice of slowing down to look at collisions or other out-of-the-ordinary things, contributes to traffic congestion and should be avoided. Continuous hard braking on ice and snow often. A. Helps you stop faster. B. Locks the front wheels of a vehicle, causing a loss of steering. C. Keeps the brakes from freezing. B. Locks the front wheels of a vehicle, causing a loss of steering. Continuous hard braking on snow and ice can result in the locking of the front brake, causing a loss of steering. To avoid the need for excessive braking, make sure to maintain an appropriate speed for conditions. If you see a flooded roadway ahead, A. Check to make sure the standing water is not too deep and then cross carefully. B. Proceed without stopping. C. Turn around and find another route to your destination. C. Turn around and find another route to your destination. Do not drive through flooded areas. If you see a flooded roadway ahead, turn around and find another route to your destination. When stopped at a red traffic light with a green arrow, you may proceed in the direction of the arrow if you A. First come to a complete stop. B. Wait until the light changes. C. Are in the proper lane and the intersection is clear. C. Are in the proper lane and the intersection is clear. You may proceed in the direction that a green arrow signal is pointing if you are in the proper lane, regardless of any other signals that are displayed. Before turning, you must yield the right-of-way to pedestrians and vehicles already within the intersection. This is the shape and color of a fill in the blank sign. A. Stop. B. Wrong way. C. Yield. C. Yield. Downward-facing triangular signs mean drivers must yield. When approaching a yield sign, slow down to a speed that is reasonable for existing conditions and stop if necessary. If you must stop, do so at a marked stop line, if it exists. A vehicle suddenly cuts in front of you, creating a hazard. What should you do first? A. Honk and step on the brake firmly. B. Take your foot off the gas pedal. C. Swerve into the lane next to you. B. take your foot off the gas pedal. If a vehicle merges in front of you too closely, take your foot off of the accelerator. This will create space between you and the vehicle ahead without requiring you to slam on your brakes or swerve into another lane. What should a driver do when approaching a traffic control signal that is not in operation? A. Come to a full stop and yield the right of way before entering the intersection. B. If the intersection is clear, the driver does not need to stop. C. Drive quickly through the intersection to get out of the way of other vehicles. A. Come to a full stop and yield the right of way before entering the intersection. When traffic control signals are not working, a driver must always treat the intersection as an all-way stop and come to a complete stop, unless otherwise directed by law enforcement. The driver must then look and yield the right of way before entering the intersection. A broken yellow centerline means that A. Passing is not permitted. B. Passing on the right is permitted when the way ahead is clear. C. Passing on the left is permitted when the way ahead is clear. C. Passing on the left is permitted when the way ahead is clear. A broken yellow centerline means that a driver may cross the centerline to pass another vehicle on the left as long as there is no oncoming traffic. Drivers should never cross a solid yellow centerline in order to pass. Remove all snow, frost, and ice from A. Just the windshield. B. All windows. C. Just the windshield and passenger window. B. All windows. It is important that you are able to see clearly through all of your vehicle's windows, including the windshield. Remove all snow, ice, and frost from your vehicle's windows and mirrors before you start to drive. If you are driving near a large commercial vehicle, you should A. Follow the large vehicle closely to reduce wind drag on your vehicle. B. Avoid driving beside it for long stretches of time. C. Drive on its right side when on curves and hills. B. Avoid driving beside it for long stretches of time. Because large commercial vehicles have large blind spots on each side, you should avoid driving beside them for long periods of time. Regulatory signs are A. Green. B. Yellow. C. White. If you are driving and you see animals standing near the roadway, A. Speed up to scare them away. B. Slow down and proceed with caution. C. Quickly swerve into the next lane. B. Slow down and proceed with caution. Slow down and proceed with caution if you see animals that are standing near the roadway. They may unexpectedly bolt or change direction at the last moment. Some animals travel in packs, so there may be more animals just out of sight that are also near the road. What is the purpose of rumble strips? A. They alert drivers to potential tire problems. B. They test a vehicle's shock absorbers. C. Through vibration and sound, they alert inattentive drivers to the fact that their vehicles have left the travel lane. C. Through vibration and sound, they alert inattentive drivers to the fact that their vehicles have left the travel lane. Rumble strips create noise and vibrations to warn drowsy or inattentive drivers that they are straying off of the road or are approaching a stop sign or signal. When a car with bright headlights drives toward you at night, you should A. Stop until the other driver passes. B. Look below their headlights. C. Glance toward the right edge of your lane. C. Glance toward the right edge of your lane. To avoid being blinded when driving at night, do not look directly at the headlights of oncoming cars. Instead, look toward the right edge of the road until the oncoming driver has passed. This sign means A. All traffic must turn left. B. No left turn. C. No U-turn. B. No left turn. This sign means drivers cannot make a left turn. It is unsafe and unlawful to make a left turn at an intersection where this sign is posted.